This is the introduction video to Forms and Flows. You are now looking at the login screen of the Forms and Flows app, showing all 4 possible login options. To log in as an employee, with a role as a process manager and as an application manager. The option shown depends on the authorization granted. I now log in with a role. I'm now seeing all the roles I have been assigned to, and I start with the role begin. In this case, for the process called test. A role does not have to be connected to a single process. It can be connected to multiple processes. And that's why there's this option, My Available Processes. There are no pending actions at the moment, also no active runs. So when I just click on the My Available Processes, I first get an overview of the processes related to the role. In this case, as mentioned, there's only one. So when I click on it, you will get an information page about the process, making sure you have the right one selected. And when I click on the new run, the form to kick off the process instance, also called a run, is shown. This form is dynamically generated, meaning it's not a static form, but is based on a configuration. The form shows 6 fields, one for every possible field type, and I will show you them all. But first, I want to click on the button Submit, showing you error messages are shown. That's because every field can have checks, 0, 1 or multiple, and in this case, all fields were configured with the check that it should not be empty. Some additional checks also apply, for instance for date, when I select a date in the past, and for the text input multiple line, for instance when I only add 3 characters, and now when I click on submit, you will see there are still some errors, but it's another error in case of a date, and also another error in case of a text input multi-line. I can save the form as a draft. It ignores the checks that the field must be empty, but other checks are not ignored. So let me click on Save as Draft. You will see that now only the error shown with date and the multi-line text input are shown. Let me fill in everything. Oh. And submit the form. What now happens is that a run is started. An automation is triggered, making sure that the next action is created, the next action in line. And this is defined by the process you are automating. The role now has an active run. So when I click on this, you will see this active run which has just been created. It has no pending actions. That's because the next action is assigned to an employee and not to a role. So let me now go back to the login screen and sign in as an employee. Click on the My Pending Actions and you will see in the overview there is indeed a pending action for me. So when I click on this, I will be going to the form which is generated, but in this case the form does not contain any fields. So the only thing I have to do is I want to edit the form and then click on Submit, triggering an automation which generates the next action conform to your process. The next action is assigned to a role, so I have to log in with a role. And in this case, action 4. So here in the My Pending Actions, you will see there's indeed an action for this role to act on. And here also a form is shown. In this case, the form does have fields. And as you can see over here, there is an additional one called text. So this is not an input field, but a field which will show text based on previously executed automations. Now when I click on Edit Form, I'm allowed to edit the form. When I click on Submit, you will see I have to submit in something over here. But let me do it like this. I select the choice A. Oh, so as you can see, the choices over here are different than the choices that were on the form for when starting the run. Count, date, so. And let me click on Submit. Oh, the chosen date must be in the past. Okay. It's too large. Submit. This ends the process. So when I now go back to the login screen and log in as Process Manager, I first get an overview screen with all the processes assigned to me. In this case, there's only one. And when I select the process, I'm going to the homepage for process managers and application managers, having these 5 options. When I click on the All Closed Runs, you will see the overview page with all closed runs. And in this case, it contains the one we just executed. When I click on it, you will go to the overview page of the run, called the run information. As you can see over here, there is a detail menu for a run. An action also has a detail menu. And in this case, the detail menu for a run contains the run information, the related process information, the emails sent during the whole run, logging of the whole run, so for all actions, and also an overview of all the actions executed. Now, for instance, when I go to action 2, being the process manager, I'm allowed to do this. It doesn't have to be that way. So if you're having authorization to view information on a run, you don't necessarily can go to an action. But as a process manager, I can. And here you see the detail menu of an action. So this is shows the action information. This shows the email sent during this action, and you can click on an email and then you will see the email information and the log generated, and you can also click on it. And there is also the way to navigate to the run related to that action. If you are allowed to navigate from an action to a run, depends on your authorization. So to summarize this video, there are multiple login options. For instance, with a role can have an authorization, and in this case, it has the authorization to start a process instance, also called a run. Actions have a form attached to it. A form can be empty, meaning with no fields, as shown in this video, but normally they will have some fields. And there are multiple fields types. In this case, there are 6 at the moment, but more will be added in the future. There are detail menus. There's detail menu for actions, and the option for email and the option for log is only available for a process manager and an application manager. The Forms and Flows app contains multiple overview screens, which allow also for filtering. And there are 2 types of homepages, one for employees or when you log in with a role, and one for process managers and application managers. This is the end of the video.